you think college costs as much as it does?
That is a good question, and one that I don't know the answer to.
Why is it so expensive? And part of it might be because they know they can charge that much.
I think basically people are paying for the name.
Rising costs of tenure, faculty, and all that stuff.
You want to attract good faculty members.
Well, I suppose it has a lot to do with the salaries of good teachers.
Hello, I'm Paul Fain, a reporter with the Chronicle of Higher Education. The cost of college is a hot issue. People are angry about rising tuition and fees, and politicians are paying attention. Some experts say the cost crisis is exaggerated and that most degrees are still bargains, but the price of college has outpaced inflation for many years, and it's a problem colleges can't afford to ignore. In the months to come, a new series from the Chronicle, dubbed Sticker Shock, will explore this issue with stories and online features. We'll start with the basics. Chronicle reporter Kate Moser and I walked around Washington, D.C., asking higher education insiders and people on the street, why does college cost as much as it does, and should something be done to lower the costs?
Colleges and universities are labor-intensive organizations. The majority of their costs are faculty administrative salaries, and because there's so much personal attention and involved in the delivery of education, it tends to be expensive.
Elite institutions in particular are in a constant competition for the most highly qualified professors. Simple fact of the matter is that compared to 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, college students and their parents are demanding a much higher level of amenities.
It's just the upkeep of the college and
The overhead involved in maintaining the college plant.
Most college campuses are like small cities. We have buildings to maintain. We have a technology infrastructure. We have road repairs to do. We've just finished all of those at Trinity. Just paving the roads cost about $25,000.
A lot of it's inflation.
Inflationary factors that other industries also have to deal with, but that I think do have a strong impact on campus. One of those is rising energy costs, over which we have no control. You know, if you were to go to a car factory, 100 years ago, and go to one today, you'd find a completely different kind of institution. You'd have a lot more machines, a lot fewer workers producing the same amount of product, and that's why you get these extraordinary productivity gains nowadays in many industries. But if you went to a classroom 100 years ago and to a classroom today, you'd see very little difference.
The value of education has gone up. I think education is required more depending on what type of jobs you're going for. I guess just because it's getting more and more competitive.
Competition as well. As one school increases the cost, other schools subsequently increase the cost.
When we set tuition at Trinity, I try to explain to the students how much of every tuition dollar goes to faculty salaries. That's about 60 cents on the dollar. How much goes to maintaining the buildings and grounds? That's about 15 cents on the dollar. How much goes into campus security, which is a really big issue for the consumers? For us, that's about 5 cents on every dollar. That's quite a lot.
And do you think something should be done to lower costs?
Yes. I'm probably in about $200,000 worth of debt right now.
I know it's going up and up and up. When I went to college, it was something like $1,000 a year, and I understand it's 40 to 50 over here. Of course, I went to school 60 years ago.
The cost of college should be paid for by the government, like in Europe.
There should be more, not necessarily internships, but more sponsorships for major corporations, because these are the people you're going to work for, and I feel like these should be the people who are actually paying you for, getting what they need.
We do look for ways of being efficient.
We have found that the culture of higher education is additive. New programs are added, new administrators are added, new classes are added, and then the question is never asked, well, what can be dropped?
It's a little bit like an arms race. No one institution can say enough is enough, but if you have a bunch of them getting together and saying, maybe we ought to slow this down a little bit.
And then also there's some people, and I know this is a small minority, and it's probably the really wealthy individual, they probably pride themselves on sending their children to the most expensive colleges.
What is most dangerous socially and morally about the spiraling cost of higher education is the threat that a whole economic class of students will be priced out of our best institutions.